Yeah. You are listening to 100.9 KWTN. This is the Big Voice Radio. It is Wednesday night, 2026. This is the first episode of 2026 of the show. This is your host, Coach Q. Also in the house today, we have...
Yo, okay, there are. Okay, we good now? Okay, B-Luv's in the house. Yeah, we got Q Murd on the ones and twos. You don't know what the heck he's doing.
Oh, I'm subbing in for this left hand over here on this one, B-Luv.
Oh.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, you are tuning in to the first episode of 2026 of the show. The show is a sports show that talks about all the Winnebago, Nebraska, the Winnebago Indians, and all the teams that are surrounding us. We try to fill in all the native sports around the area. We try to get as many viewers as we can from the other reservations around here, the Omaha Res. They have a couple communities down there that have some pretty awesome sporting teams and some athletes up there. And we even cover up north of the Santee Sioux up there. They have a lot of good ball players. And we have a little bit of update on all those teams here in this episode of the show. But also joining us today is one of our newest members of the show and of the live stream program, Coach Chris LaPointe. Say what's up.
What's up, everybody?
All right. So, hey, B-Luv, man, and Chris. So we had a long layover since the Christmas break, and we've been working. We've been working. We've also been going to a lot of basketball games, right?
Yep.
I know that, and I see both you guys at all the Winnebago games, and I know that you guys also have other games you go to with the Chris. You got your kids, other kids' games, your younger ones. B-Luv, you got your grandkids, and the other ones that go to school at different places. So we've been pretty busy,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And I try to get to as many games as I could too. So we have a lot to talk about on the show, you know.
Yep.
So we're gonna talk about basketball a lot today because it is basketball season. But we're also gonna talk about wrestling as well. Winnebago wrestling has been doing outstanding, and so we're gonna talk about wrestling too along this journey today. And then we're gonna talk about some youth sports too, because I know that we all have our hands in the mix of some of these younger ones, the development of these younger ones. So we'll also talk about that.
Yeah, I got a couple things that we're gonna try to add to the list.
Yeah, and definitely,
on it.
I know that because of the long break and because we had not only a tournament here in Winnebago that we hosted, we're going to talk about all that. But we also had a few games too that that's going to take a lot of time for us to kind of chat about. And I'm glad that Coach Chris is on the show with us today, so we can talk about some of the, some of the mindset of our youth today, and then where the coaches are trying to get them to go to. So anyway, so before we start, do we have any early shout outs?
I'll do a quick one. I'll shout out to our old commander-in-chief back here, Bethany. This place couldn't be ran smooth if she wasn't here. You had two left hands. You're talking about left hands over here. You got, I think what you're missing is Bethany's long fingernails over here, hitting these buttons over here. That's what messed it all up right there.
Yeah.
Used to that.
Big thank you to DJ Bethany over here. I know she was feeling under the weather too. She missed some events because she was out of commission for a while. There's a big flu going around somewhere.
Oh yeah, it's all over the place. Yep.
So she's recovering and she's back with us. So welcome back, DJ Bethany. And so so guys, early shout out, Chris. Any early shout outs? We'll get to some shout outs later on too. No.
All business today.
All business. All right. So I just want to give an early shout out to some young ladies. Okay, I got a fourth grade basketball team from Whirling Thunder. There's a fifth grade basketball team, the Lady Indians, and then there's a sixth grade basketball team with TB Select.
Mm-hmm.
And all three of those teams are doing really, really well this season so far.
Yep.
I believe all three of them had punched their ticket, meaning they won a tournament up in the city to qualify for the end of the year tournament.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to say congratulations, big shout out to all three of those teams. And Coach Chris, I was gonna mention this to you too. Years ago when we started the Warpath basketball program, it started off with just one big team of 19 boys on one team. And it was really hard to try to play 19 boys in one game. We did it before, and there were a couple kids that only got like a minute or two, but they got in, 19 boys. So we kind of thought, hey man, we have to do something about this. And so we split it up into two teams. And that was good. We split up to two teams. One had 9, one had 10. And then from that point on, as they got older, we just kept filling that same age group with a new team. Next thing you know, we got teams from 8th grade, which was the original team, all the way down to the 4th grade. And that was something that we had planned together, saying, we need to fill the gaps, those gaps that we always talk about, coaching gaps. So we fill the gaps, and we have each one of those teams have an experienced coach that actually practices them hard in practice and not just shoot around. So that was the plan from a long time ago with the boys. And so today we get to see the results of those with the basketball team now, because all those boys are seniors now. But we're looking down now with the girls program. Now the girls program, I know they just graduated out a couple classes to high school that the girls were pretty good. I believe they were either undefeated or pretty close to that, with Coach Sean Walker coaching those girls, and they're in high school now. But now we got these other girls coming up, and they're practicing at a more advanced stage than what they were the previous year, or some of their counterparts around this area here. And so they're really stepping up. And I got to give a shout out to the coaches, because the coaches have been putting in work with those girls, not just letting them, when you're a young one, you don't have them run too much, or, just kind of baby them a little bit, but they don't really baby them anymore. They're kind of on their case. They're trying to teach them the fundamentals. They're trying to teach them about what we always talk about those attitudes. Mm-hmm. They're trying to catch that stuff early, and then today, we're looking at there's three years right there where we got some pretty decent ball handlers coming up, really good shooters at that age already. Mm-hmm. That's coming up, and then we still have a lot of time too. So that's my early shout out, guys, is to those young ladies that have been putting in the work, and their coaches. So
it's a long shout out.
Yeah, but I had to get it out there, because we covered a lot of basketball in the last couple of weeks, and that's what we're going to get into right now. The girls have played really well. I believe they in the break they played Norfolk. They played who was that team? Tri-County last night. They played in the tournament where they played St. Francis, and also they played Santee. Mm-hmm. And then there was a game.
Osmond. That's the game right there. And they played Osmond too. Mm-hmm. So they had a long break, and it kind of showed on that Newcastle game. I think you guys were there at the Newcastle game, and it kind of showed, or not Newcastle, sorry. Norfolk game, Norfolk Catholic. Oh, yeah. The girls, you could tell that the break was kind of long for them. There's a lid on the rim. The girls got tired quick. And Norfolk girls just kind of ran away with it,
I think they're pretty good this year, though, too.
Yeah,
a lot of times when Catholic schools are good. You can bring other players in from other schools, and there's
kind of recruit.
Yeah, and there's no penalty for that. No sitting out 90 days or whatever it was. But when you're a Catholic school, you can just bring kids in. That's crazy. That's how Wahoo Newman was always real good down there a couple years ago. Bergen, and the same with what's the other green team that Winnebago played in state a couple of times.
Shamrocks.
Yeah, them guys. Yeah, so that's why they're always really good too.
Healing, same way. Yeah, that's true. You can bring your athletes in.
Hey, before we go any further with this, with these things, let me throw something in there and give it's kind of a shout out, but how about the Husker men's basketball team this year? Geez, 17-0, ranked 8th in the nation now, and ahead of all the blue bloods with the North Carolina, Dukes, and Kansas, and they're just playing phenomenal basketball this year. Yeah, they played I've seen a lot of stuff on Facebook during lunchtime about they played Oregon last night. And as we all know, our former quarterback signed with Oregon to go play up there, so everybody was online. They were just
they were
letting them have it. Yeah, because they 30'd Oregon real quick.
Yeah, I was going to say, B-Luv,
this is more kind of becoming like a podcast and not really kind of like that the show. Just a lot of people are out there doing podcasts. So man, you're going to step in and bring something up that's just like on it. And that you remember or you think of, just go hop in there right away.
Yeah, that was one of my shout-outs when I said at the beginning of the show. Like I got a couple of things, so I have another thing that's not basketball, but I'll bring that up later when we got a break in action somewhere.
Yeah. So, Coach Chris, you've been watching Huskers play
now
that they're winning.
Well, I went to a couple games in the last couple of years just to check it out while the tickets were cheap, but it's exciting. I think with our football program not doing too great, it gives us something to watch and something to look forward to. So definitely, they won some pretty tough games and found ways to come back, being down by 16 points, kind of showing that toughness and that resilience. And a lot of the guys, they're from Lincoln, they're from Omaha, they're some of the guys that I think one of the kids played at Ashley Greenwood.
Yeah, I think one of the starters played at Ashley.
And kind of played some valuable minutes in not this game against Oregon, but the previous one. So it's always fun to watch. And, local guys, playing for a big university like that, it's always worth your while when you tune in.
Then having that Hoiberg as coach, that always helped too. You got a young guy that was pretty good in basketball himself when he played, so of course he'd bring in a lot. Then him coming from Iowa State. I think he was coaching over there, and then come over, and then I think he's got a boy that's playing that's pretty good. You guys know what? I didn't watch one game because I want to watch. I don't want to be the black cat, and then as soon as I start watching, then they lose. so I didn't want to watch. I'd just rather catch highlights. Then it's gonna be a tough one because the main one I want to watch is everybody's talking about is when they meet Michigan.
Yeah.
But that's the same night as Winnebago plays Bancroft in basketball on the same night. So I'm just like, ooh, I have my phone pulled up.
Oh, yeah, you got to record it and then just start watching from the beginning. Close your ears.
Yeah.
Get off your phone. No, that's good. I like it up for them too. And remember last year, didn't one of the Huskers, that Asian kid, win like a 3-point contest at the end of the year or so, or 2 years ago?
Yeah, I think it was 2 years ago.
So like that, and then. That was the only time that I ever actually was rooting for one of the Husker boys since Tyronn Lue back in the day. Yeah, and then even when we went down to go watch the Huskers play a couple games when Wisconsin was in town back in Bronson days. Yeah, but I wasn't cheering for the Huskers. I was cheering for Bronson's team.
The same thing was when we all went down to watch Baby Dave play down there too, and they went down to Pinnacle, and Baby Dave was playing up there with the Jackrabbits. And we're all down there too and watch that game. And then it was tough walking around with Jackrabbit gear on when you born and raised, bred Husker.
You have a whole closet full of Husker stuff and you didn't wear none of it.
Yeah, had to run up to Sioux Falls up there and go grab some USD clothes at Walmart.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Hey, so we'll just continue on with that the off-season basketball, and we was talking about the girls. And they had a rough one against Norfolk, and I was saying that, but then they came back after that game, and the next game they played was in Osmond, and I think that's where, I don't know, that's where kind of some things kind of change, and I know that, me and Coach Chris was talking about the girls during the live stream, and it just seems to me like the girls team is maturing pretty fast. And then one of the things that we talked about too was that every year Winnebago girls have a really tough schedule before Christmas. And then they play the Homers, they play Penders on the schedule. They didn't play them this year because they had a different game going on. But then they play Oakland, they're always tough. South Sioux's on the schedule. All those different games, and those were just before Christmas, And then so the girls had a tough time.
Yeah.
And I believe that they're going into this last game, they were 7-6, I believe they were. They just kind of broke the 500 mark. But the game against Osmond is when they kind of started. And we noticed that there's a different rotation. Coaches doing a different rotation. And also certain girls are attacking the basket more. And they're really playing like a team nowadays, And I know a lot of times that in the past we've had good athletes come through in Winnebago's girls team, but it was like never like a team. They never played like a team, And so it's really kind of exciting seeing the girls program.
I got a lot to say. When it comes to that because I've been to every game, and I'm not trying to be negative on any of the stuff you just touched on. But as far as the team goes, yeah, they need to use each other a lot more. I mean, they got other, they got, it seems like there's no, I don't want to say it like this, but like, no, like, I don't know if they have any actual plays that they run. It's just mainly running and gunning is what I noticed. And it seems like it's either one of the girls taking down, dribbling around, going all the way in, throwing it up in the lane with 3 girls on them, or another one doing it. But there's times where they're missing an open shooter over on a 3-point line. See, but at the same time, everybody else, they need to be, if they're not going to be running no plays, then you got to kind of be moving and moving to try to want the ball. A lot of times everybody just stands and watches those 2. They'll stand on the 3-point line and just watch those 2. You know, so when it comes to the team, you're talking about those girls, they're good enough to get their buckets. They're good enough to get to the hole. They're good enough. They got good hands. They're up there playing real aggressive defense, getting steals, going in for layups. That's the part that's where they're getting their points and they're getting their buckets when they do that. But once they start doing the 1-on-3 stuff and not using the other girls that are either open or something, then that's when they tend to get down on themselves. And then I've seen them knock some shots down, throwing them up there like that too, but I've seen a lot where they didn't. And then a lot of people, it's not just me that sees it, you know. So, I mean, you know, it's not taking nothing away from them, because I got a granddaughter that plays on that team. And I want them to all get together and mesh, because they do got the talent to do something this year. You know, not taking nothing away from those guards, because if those 2 guards weren't there, then we'd be having a lot more trouble than what we got now. So they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, but they just need to kind of just keep their head up a little bit, is all I'm saying. Look around and
like
try to use the other
get
guy.
everybody involved.
Yeah, that's it.
I saw it on a couple of fast breaks in transition where you got girls that are already down court in a ready position for the shot. You got the ball coming up, and it could be a quick pass to the corner for an open shot. Instead they just keep on attacking the basket. They draw everybody's defense, and like you said, 1-on-3.
Yeah, and I mean, that's a good trait to have. If you can get to the hole, get to the hole. You know, I'm all for that. But you got to be in control. You can't just go in there and expect either to get fouled and just. But we talk about it. We've been talking about this for years. You got to have control when you drive in. As referees, we say that people fall down. You're not going to get that LeBron call when I'm reffing. You know, go in. If you go in hard, go in control, and go in, and then you get bumped or something, you'll get fouled. We'll call it. But if you're just going to go in there and just start throwing things up and fall down and act like you got fouled, you're not going to get that call. And that's just kind of what I see. I mean, they're all young ladies, and they're learning. You know, and then the ones I'm referring to still are middle classmen, I guess you can say. One's a sophomore, one's a junior, but they're really good. They're really good, but they need to keep their eyes open a little more when they're doing it. Use their team a little more. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and I know when I was bringing that up, when I first started talking about, you know, the teamwork and stuff, there were instances where there was a pass down low and a kick out and a reverse all the way, and then the shots that were taken were like wide open shots, like they ran a play, but it's just sharing the ball, you know, looking for that next pass. You're getting ready to shoot, somebody closes out on you, and somebody's more open, than get it to them. You know? And I saw it on a few occasions.
They need
shots dropping.
If they start learning learn how to do that, and at the same time, you know, not taking nothing and say nothing bad about them, the girls running the show, but at the same time, the other ones that are sitting out there ready, you better be ready then. If they hit it, if they throw it to you, you gotta do something with it. Either quick pass, right, give and go, or take your shot, or get it out and let's start it all over. And then, you know, that's all I'm saying. I mean, I'm not taking those girls they're good. It's good that they're on their team. I love the aggressiveness. I can't wait for them to keep going forward.
I was going to kind of add that point on too, about what looks different for the girls. That's a positive thing is defensively. Like it's everybody. It's whatever 5 you put out there. They're all out there and they're giving it their all on defense. And I think when Coach Harlan sees one of the girls either get tired or miss an assignment or 2, and then she subs them out, you know, like 2 at a time, because you know not everybody's in shape to run the whole game like that, you know. So you got to pull people out, and she does a good job of rotating some people in, you know, especially those younger ones, because they need to get that experience.
I like what they got going on. I like what they got, and it's just all they're gonna do is gonna get better. I mean, just one more year to mature with the whole squad, because I think there's only maybe 2 or 3 seniors on the team this year.
Yeah.
You know, they get, you know, go in and do their thing, but then all the younger ones get that one more year of maturity, you know, so even next year be scary to see.
You never know, so he might grow too.
Yeah, something like it'll sprout up, yeah.
I talked to Coach Doug Macklin. We were chopping it up before the game, and he was asking how the girls are. All the girls, and I said, you know what? I said they're coming along. And he's like, yeah, probably heard him losing all those seniors last year. And I said, I don't know, I don't know. You know, I said last year was a pretty crazy year last year because you had a lot of seniors, and I think those seniors, I think they expected like the season to go smooth, and it didn't. You know, and then this new crew coming up though, they're hungry. Like they're hungry, and they're not just hungry like to get out there and play ball, but they're hungry to learn too. Especially those really young ones that are coming up. And I actually mentioned those guys before because that's the teams that Coach Sean Walker was coaching in junior high, where they did really good in junior high. So, and I think it's those same girls that we see when you do see that ball getting whipped around, passed around. It's the majority of those girls right there.
Yep, I noticed.
So with saying that and being positive, you know, maybe the platform we use right here is that they could learn from each other. You know, they can both learn from each other.
They need to trust each other. I mean, even if they're younger, or even if they're, you know, I mean, they're not used to shooting the rock too much. At least they can do something else. I mean, they might see something that the other one don't. You know, like give and go, give it to me, and I'll give it back to you and get them for a layup and stuff. You know, just a little thing like that. They're all learning. They're still young, so they'll be fine. They'll be fine. I'm proud. I'll still be at every game.
Yeah. So then after the Osmond game, then we had this tournament. We'll talk about the tournament too. You know, and that's Winnebago didn't play Osmond, but they had that night off. But we'll talk about the Winnebago post-holiday tournament. And this year there were 4 teams for the boys division, 4 teams for the girls division. And those teams were, of course, hosting was Winnebago. And we had our neighbors from down south, the Walt Hill Blue Jays. Coach Manny Menez brought his squad up. We had the Santee Warriors come from up north, Santee. And then we had the team from St. Francis up there in the Rosebud Reds. They came down for that tournament too. And we enjoyed the game. Me, Coach Chris, we did the live stream along with Coach Huge. And the games were fun to commentate. They were fun, and you can tell that all the boys enjoyed themselves, even, you know, win or lose. The boys all enjoyed themselves. The girls, they had a good time too. We saw some really good games and met some really good athletes from those other schools for the girls program. So it was a good tournament. That happened on the first day was on Friday, so that game there, or those games there were done, and the winners went on to Saturday for the championship games. And so on Saturday, the championship game for the boys was Winnebago versus, who did we play?
Walt Hill.
We played Walt Hill for the second time for the championship game. And then the girls was they played Santee. Winnebago girls played Santee for that championship game, and that was a really good game too. DJ Bestme showing pictures of the teams of the tournament, and it was real. I think it was a real good show out for Winnebago for a first annual tournament.
Yeah.
And then Coach Chris, what did you think about their tournament and how the kids kind of got this experience having a home tournament?
Yeah, it was kind of nice to see, you know, the gym filled up with a lot of people from, you know, Walt Hill and St. Francis and stuff like that. But, you know, all in all, you know, the style of play, you know, just across the board, you know, it was fun to watch. You know, teams really got up and down. And there's just, you know, one thing that was noticeable is there's a lot of really young native hoopers that, you know, are looking good. You know, there's a lot of good ball players that are coming up, and it's not just here. And, you know, just going back to even the kids in junior high and lower, I think just across the board, the skill and the players, they're getting better too. Like you see, a lot of kids at younger ages are doing things like, you know, when I was in second and third grade that I couldn't even do yet, and that's just a tribute to, you know, these kids and their folks, and you know, just, you know, how much talent is actually kind of hidden on these reservations. And you know, the girls team from Santee had some good players too, and you know, I kind of wanted to give them a shout out because they were a good team. You know, you could tell the way that they played. They know how to play the game. You know, unfortunately, the Winnebago girls just a little too much in that game, but even the Walt Hill girls too. They played tough. I didn't get to, you know, watch them, but just going back to the previous game when Winnebago girls and Walt Hill girls played, that was a good game too in itself. So just a kind of a acknowledgement to all the teams as far as, you know, there's some hidden gems around here, and if, you know, these kids can continue to put in the work, you know, sky's the limit.
Yep.
And I think that's one thing too, that each one of the coaches out there from each of these communities and the age groups is you know, for coaching for a number of years, that you can see that hidden gem in there. Just for example, little Lenny. You know, I remember a couple of years ago you said, "Oh man, this kid coming up, Lenny, man," you know, and then it's a couple of years later, and then man, you know, Lenny's even hitting 30 pieces in junior high games down here at the school, you know, and it's just, you could see it early, you know, that you could see that the kids that fell in love with the game early in life, you know, and then some of them are really talented, but they don't have that love yet, you know. And just, man, how scary is that once they find that love, you know? That's good though. But that's good words right there, Chris. I totally agree. And give a shout out to Manny Menez, brought the Wall Hill Jays up. I know that Coach Manny, he always feels real proud coming up to Winnebago, you know, as a head coach.
Yep.
And he really enjoys, and he has a lot of passion for his responsibilities down here.
You guys talk about like little hidden gems. Well, there's a big one that Manny has, bro. Angelo Russell's boy, with a little guidance and a little work, he'd be tough. I think he's young too. So Angelo messaged me after the game. How do you think nephew did? I said, he did good. And, you know, and he just needs to learn. If Manny wants to teach any of those guys that, and we say it all the time, teach him the mic and drill.
Yeah.
Just do the mic and drill, because he's good for offensive rebounds and putbacks. If he knows how to learn how to score and just a couple of easy moves underneath the hoop, he's so big that he can clear out and he can get his buckets, and he really can help the Jays out this year. He just needs a little work.
Yeah, in that championship game, he shot 80% from the field. He was 4 of 5 from the field. He had 8 points, and he had like 3 or 4 rebounds away. But he hardly played.
Yeah,
he didn't play that much. But when he did play, he played really good.
Yeah,
and then he kind of took himself out of the game. He picked up his 3rd foul, and he's like, take me out, you know. I think that foul too was from fatigue. So along with advice that you're gonna give, you know, like that, you know, any of these athletes, you have to be in shape.
Yeah,
you have to be in shape.
Then he had to deal with Tiny Baby for a little while.
Yeah,
Tiny Baby's he's in shape. So
I was saying, because that was one of the people we kind of kept on saying, you got to get in shape, Ashton. You got to get, and then look at him now.
Yeah,
you know, he got in shape to where he can be running for a while, you know.
Yeah.
But big shout out to the Blue Jays, man.
Yeah, they do good.
But I want to give a big shout out to Coach Dave Winget, Coach Jeff Barrett, and the crew for the job they did in this tournament too, because they really they let the boys play. That's what I thought. I thought it looked like they let the boys play, and when they got a little bit maybe you know how we say carried away, maybe
out of control.
Too much dribbling or something like that. Then they either called a timeout, or they had somebody else bring the ball up court or something like that. But they were adjusting as the game was going on, and I think they're doing a really fantastic job with the boys this year. And I know we talked a lot about the girls, you know, in this episode already, but Coach Chris, I'm going to ask you a few things to kind of give you the mic and maybe talk a little bit about the boys so far, and then what we kind of expect from them, you know, down the road this season.
Yeah, I would say, like, you know, for me, you know, like the way that I like to coach, and this is just, you know, just my own personal self, is that I like to be a defensive oriented or defensive minded team before anything else, because, you know, the main foundation, you know, into any championship team is you got to be able to play defense. You got to be able to get stops. Yeah, the name of the game is putting the ball in the hole, but who can get stops? And not only that, but who can rebound the ball? And 9 times out of 10, you're going to find yourself in a game where it's going to come down to one of those two things. It's defense and rebounding. And, you know, from what I've seen up until this point, 9 games in, is that it's just a little bit too inconsistent as far as, you know, we'll play one half of good defense, one half of good rebounding. And it's alternating. Maybe it'll be the first half where they do a good job, the second half kind of tails off. But as far as just putting two halves together and playing 4 quarters of basketball, you know, and I'm just going to kind of keep, you know, saying that because, you know, that's extremely important to start trying to make a conscious effort to get done now. And it doesn't really matter who you play, you know, like for me, you know, I tell my kids, you know, we always want to play a certain way. We always want to play defense. We always want to rebound. But at the same time, if we find ourselves down by 10, 15 points, we're going to continue to play the same. I mean, yeah, there's offensive things that we might have to do differently, but we just have to play harder, you know, and all I'm asking you to do is just give me max effort. If you're tired of it, get other kids in the game. But I think when you're that way as a coach too, it allows you to kind of tap into more of these kids and some of these kids that maybe come off the bench aren't as skilled or aren't as good. But, you know, for me, anybody can play defense. Anybody can rebound. It really doesn't take a whole lot of skill, but it's a solid foundation for building, you know, a ball player. You know, maybe they don't have that love for basketball yet. Maybe they're scared or not confident. But if you can coach them up to say, hey, I just need you to get me like 3 rebounds, or I just need you to box somebody out, or I just need you to not let this guy score. It's little tasks like that I think you can really build a foundation on. So, you know, for me, I would just want to see, you know, the boys and the girls. The girls do a great job, you know, as far as playing defense, because it just always seems like every game they're just full tilt. And some of those girls just seem like they don't get tired, and you know, and that's a credit to Coach Harlan as far as getting those girls conditioned. You know, all summer while I was there, I seen them there too, and a lot of those girls were running hard and putting in a lot of work, and you know, that was always, you know, kind of good to see, is that, you know, those girls were wanting it like that and putting in the work. So for the boys, you know, it's the same thing. You know, they played a lot of games this summer. And they you know, they started really taking off, you know, towards like the middle of the summer and playing some really, really good basketball. And it's kind of the group that you see now, but it was always just the little things. Like, I think this last game was a great job of, you know, communicating on defense, talking to each other. You know, those things really go a long ways, and they make your defense a lot better. And just across the board, I think we all know every championship team, you know, it's that communication, whether it's, you know, just high fives or, you know, and the girls do a good job of that too, is, you know, just that encouragement amongst the players. You know, that's what you want to see. And the boys, you know, this last game did a really good job of just having good attitudes. You know, I know, you know, it was a 20-point kind of win for them, but they did a good job of being good teammates. Other guys got in the game, you know, Terrence came in, did his thing, Prince got a bucket, Keitel got a bucket. Like, those are things that you want to see, because those boys put in the work too. So you know, anytime they can step on the floor, you know that they've earned that. And I know for Coach Winget and the staff, you know, they want guys to, you know, that's a part of the standard, is it's got to be earned. Like, you know, it's hard, you know, being young, and we all know, going back to the old days, you got to earn your spot. You want to be a freshman playing on a varsity level, it has to be earned. And I think, you know, for a while, just basketball in general just kind of got away from that, where, you know, this kid might have been good in 6th and 7th grade and just have this feeling when they get to high school as a freshman, like, oh, I'm going to play, I'm going to start, I'm going to do all this. And, you know, that's got to be earned. You know, that helps them in their development too, knowing that they earned that, knowing that, you know, the coach is recognizing it. That's an important piece.
Yeah, no, that's for sure right there. That is for sure. And there's a picture right there of the boys with their championship trophy right there. They're looking pretty good right there.
I like this kid right here. When he gets in there, he goes pretty hard, and he got little moves around the hoop too, and he gets a bunch of good rebounds and stuff like that. I like his game, and Big Chris too. I like how he gets in there and just causes a double, triple team just right when he touches the ball, because then he's kind of a little shifty down there for being a big boy.
Yeah, he's got good footwork.
Good little footwork, a little spin off the glass and stuff.
That kid you're talking about, that's Kirsten Marufo's boy. That's Lighty.
That's the one.
Lighty. That's Val Marufo's grandson. Monica's grandson. Yeah.
Kind of looks like a joke a little bit, a little stocky guy. Remember how Val used to be?
So he's been doing really good on, man.
Oh,
He's so quiet,
Yeah.
You know, we always just think, man, what if this kid got swole by lifting weights and come out of his shell and
Yeah.
not so
How
quiet?
old is he?
He's a sophomore.
Yeah.
10th grader. Yeah, I know.
That's
He's
fair.
got it.
Still
Like
got time.
it doesn't seem like it because he's quiet and stuff like that. But as soon as he gets the ball, he goes to work right away. You know, and then he crashes the boards almost every possession too.
Yeah.
Because you see when he's in the game when the ball's rebounded, if he doesn't get it, he's right around it somewhere.
Sure.
You know? So yeah, he's a
Yeah, and one thing that I really like about him is that he doesn't demand the ball. He doesn't need the ball to be effective. And you know, there's very few kids that, you know, as a coach, you try to figure out like what's their game, what do they do, and for him, it's always been all the little things, those tip outs, those controlled tips, you know,
Yeah,
taking
I've
to your
seen that too.
teammates, dropping good passes to your teammates, you know, making good plays, you know, getting big blocks, and then just always being a good listener. And I think that's what I like the most about him is that he's just a great listener and he's very coachable. And he kind of just, you know, soaks it all in when whatever you're saying to him, and you know, he might not say much, but you know, at the end of the day, you know, the way that he plays is just, you know, they don't really make him like that, you know. Like everybody wants to be a scorer nowadays, everybody wants to have the ball in their hands, you know, everybody's, you know, worried about, you know, getting 30, but with Heidi, you know, he's not worried about that type of stuff. And you know, as a coach personally, I love a kid who can do the little things.
Yeah.
And you don't even have to ask him to, that's just who they are.
Right when you said that, I remember he did that game of controlled tip out on a rebound on one of those games. I think it was against Wall Hill. Jumped up there and he probably could have grabbed it, but there was two guys by him, but he was up there and he tipped it right out to probably, I think it was Age, and then you know, they just got another possession out of it. But it was just like one of them things like that was a good move. I mean, that was good. You didn't have to grab that. It's still rebounding on your stats, you know.
Yeah, totally keep your eye out for him and keep your ear out for that name too, because he's gonna be a big help with the Indians coming up in the next couple of years.
He played with you guys down in Denver last year, right? On
Yep.
your elite team.
Yep.
That's where I remember seeing him too. Then when I see him in a Bengal uniform, I say, "Hey, that's that guy Christian Kennyboy you used down in Denver." I said, he was all right, but I didn't know who he was.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
Hidden gem.
Yeah, hidden gem. And he's a Warpath boy too, and he went to school in Homer for his freshman year. He got a lot of playing time up there too, varsity action. No, he played against us when we played him.
Yeah, I don't think he played very much.
Really?
That Homer game. I really think that they were just sleeping on him though.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
coaches.
That's all I can say from what I've seen is they're just sleeping on him.
Yeah.
I'm glad he's in bagel blue.
Oh, we all are. And I even said that too on the first day. I said, "You look good in blue."
Yeah, that's
he knew
good.
it. He knew it. Hey, let's talk. Let's go back, Beth. Go back to Lige. All right, right there.
Oh yeah.
So we're good on basketball. The next basketball game is going to be this coming Friday, and why not both the girls and the boys? Hey, that's going to be a really good game for people to go to too, especially if you're following the Indians. And then I think Coach Chris said somewhere he saw in Max Preps that Winnebago could be ranked what, 8th,
I think 9.
9th.
Yeah, 7-2, ranked 9 in Class C1.
So that
With
right
the
there,
win, with the win up there Friday or no?
No, I
right.
think right now, but I
Oh,
think
nice.
if they win this game, since they beat Tri-County, then the Lewis and Clark home court will be in Winnebago. So I think it's like the first round. I'm not too sure on all
Yeah.
the details, but
Wow.
I'm pretty sure like that's what's on the line here is
Yeah.
that if they can beat Why Not, then we'll have some home games for Lewis and Clark, which would be great considering we
that
had
would
to
be
travel
great.
like almost 2 hours last year.
Well, let's just put it out there right now that so if Winnebago's ranked, so we got to give another little shout out to the Omaha Nation girls.
Yep.
I think they're
4.
They're ranked number 4.
Yeah, 4th, and then the Bancroft Rosalie boys, they're what are they? 8th.
I didn't get to see theirs. I didn't get to
Yeah.
see anything on theirs yet, but they got to be up there. And
Yeah.
I think I thought I seen something today that they might have been ranked. I could be mistaken.
I saw the ones that I saw all said coaches poll.
Coaches poll. That's the one.
That's
I'm
one. So I
talking-
don't think any of those are the correct actual rankings that
Oh,
they
yeah.
have
Yeah.
through the state of Nebraska, like in a newspaper.
Sure.
But it's an honor to be in Max Preps ranked up there with the
Sure.
top, and then
Especially-
that could only mean if you continue on doing good, then
Yeah, especially if the coaches are recognizing it and they're putting it out there.
Yeah.
But we all know what rankings matter are the PowerPoints.
Yeah.
Anyway, if it comes down to it, with all the stuff back 10 years ago when the boys did all their stuff. You know, that everybody's worried about the rankings, and it don't matter. Just go and beat everybody who you have to beat and get down there and win the state tournament. You know, just beat everybody.
Yeah. So Friday Why Not game, I'm going to continue on now. And last year, I believe both the Why Not boys and girls made the state tournament.
I think you're right.
The boys made it to the state championship game. I don't think they finished them off, but they made it to the ship. And we beat them last year. We beat Why Not last year in overtime. Cal Medina hit a 3-pointer at the buzzer to win that game against Why Not. And so later on, later on, we found out that, you know, Why Not made it big to the state championship game, and we really felt good about our season, even though our season didn't go as good as we wanted it to, you know. So that game's going to be huge coming up because they're trying to get revenge from last year, and we got to go up there. And I'm not sure if Why Not's ranked, but their football team, didn't they win the state championship or something this year?
I'm not too
Or
sure.
they had that play, one of the national plays of the year where the kid
Oh,
fell
that
down.
right.
He was sitting down in the end zone, and the ball landed right in his hands.
That's right. Yeah, that was them. And
Yeah, and I think that was a state championship game too. So we got our work cut out for us. But hey, I think our boys are ready though. They're ready for that, you know.
Yeah,
They're-
with
they
them
want all
too.
the smoke.
My little input on the boys too is, I like how they I like the same thing, the aggressiveness, how quick they are. That's just how you know, us natives play ball. I mean, everybody can do it, but I just like how quick they are. Now, if Age and Preston, I don't really want to how to say it like that, but if they would share the ball with each other a little more and would use each other more and they're just that much quicker and that much better. If they go through Farron and Tiny when he's in there, go through them, like there's a couple of games where just throw it to them and let them get their first couple of shots up, then they drop down and it'll open it up for everybody else. But I notice a lot too where not a lot, but I noticed from time to time that they would take a couple of forced shots too when either Kimi sitting in a corner or who else is out there with another guard. But there's like, you got the same thing when I was talking about the girls. You got someone sitting over there ready, and then they're taking it all the way in. But I mean, at the same time, is they'll get a good shot, or they get a shot, they may miss it, they may get fouled. I was like, cool, good, but just keep your eyes open because someone else is sitting right here in the corner and nobody on them. You know, if they don't shoot it, you're already driving, throwing it, then look how close you're already right by the rim for a rebound. So just little things like that is the only thing that I can say. But I honestly think for Winnebago to do really good, they need to go through those big guys. I mean, get Farron involved because Farron's pretty good.
I'm glad you kind of brought that up because last night, remember you headed out before the boys game.
Yeah.
So last night, Farron had the first 8 points of the game.
Was okay.
And
See, I didn't know that.
They got him the ball like almost every time down, and he was asking for it, right? He was actually asking for the ball because a lot of times, you know, he'll get it, he'll get position like
He'll
that.
flash.
He's not like, hey, give me the ball, but he was doing that, and maybe it was part of the game plan too, was get it down low.
Really?
Because he had the first, and then he had 16 points overall.
Wow.
And that's the most he had all season.
See, bro, I didn't
But
even
he's-
know that.
He's getting the opportunities because they are going down to him.
Yeah, well, good. That's
Yeah.
I mean, in order for that to click and work, do it. And then like I said, then I just open it that much up for Age and Preston to do their thing.
So I'm gonna go off of what you said, and I'll just say this, and then we'll kind of move on to the next thing. And Beth, I think we're gonna try to get to wrestling after this. So anyway, but what you were saying is that maybe you're saying not just the two guards, Adrian and Preston, but the whole team. You know that you have good shooters on your team.
Mm-hmm.
You look around that whole roster, good shooters on that entire team, and you know what kind of shots they can knock down. Not only did you see them knock them down in practice, but you see them knock them down in games and in the past games, you know, summer games, off-season games. You know they can knock that shot down, or you know the bigs can get theirs down low. Your goal should be, hey, we need to set each other up. That needs to be our mindset. Is no matter what, we're going to set each other up. I might dribble here, dribble there, but I'm not just looking to score. I'm looking to set my guy up. Because in a lot of those times, they dribble, they draw the defense, they attack the basket. Boom, boom. They got to close. They got to close on them to stop it from being a layup. So what does that do? dude, set your man up, you know, set your man up. It doesn't matter who it is out there, Jose, Kini, you know, Lighty, any of those guys can shoot a three, you know, so just set your man up. And that would be perfect. And that's what you call by blending together and kind of playing smooth and stuff.
And you imagine if both the girls and boys are both good already, good athletes and everything. If they both got that down and did that all the time, we both did down Lincoln 2 weeks in a row.
Man, that'd be great.
Yeah, and one thing that, you know, I kind of want to touch on is that, you know, with Coach Winget, you know, I think a key emphasis for him is that these players, one thing that was, you know, kind of, you know, lacking was that it's the terminologies of the game and the actions that occur during the game. You know, what is a flare screen? What is a hammer pass? What is, you know, a ghost screen? What are these things? Because if you're trying to get to the next level, understanding terminologies and offenses are a big component to being able to get to the next level, whether it's JUCO, D1, D2, D3. When coaches recruit, they're going to ask you questions of, you know, those type of things. And I think it's extremely important that these boys understand those things, because when you're picking a school, it's all about the right fit. It's all about the system. And I know, you know, now with NIL and all that stuff, you know, you're getting a little carried away. But, you know, if you're just trying to go play ball and you're just trying to go get a free education and stuff like that, a lot of these D2 and D3 coaches and JUCO coaches, they want to know what you know about ball. And that all attributes to just having a high IQ. So I know that's kind of been an emphasis for Dave. We're trying to implement things and, you know, trying to find balance as far as being an up-tempo team and then trying to execute in the half court, because I feel like for a long time, you know, that's what was always lacking in Winnebago was, you know, just a half court offense and situational stuff. You know, how do we execute, you know, in big games? And, you know, the 2015 boys kind of, you know, they kind of just, you know, it's a special group, and I hate to compare anybody or, you know, anything like that, but the way that they played and the way that they utilized their IQ and just the every piece to the puzzle that they had, it's very rare that you're ever going to have a group of guys that can do that. And it's extremely important for coaches to understand that having a system and an identity are crucial to building your program. And what type of team are you? Who do you want to be? And that just helps you notice as a coach what players' strengths are and what their weaknesses are. And that in turn helps you be able to develop them more. And I think that's kind of the biggest thing that, you know, is my mission for me personally is I want to develop kids and I want to get them ready for not just hoops, but for just life in general. Like there's so much to the game of basketball that you can teach. There's so much that goes into it that translates to your everyday life. And that's kind of what I, you know, where I'm coming from when I'm working with these kids is that, you know, I want you to have a strong work ethic. I want you to be determined. I want you to be the best that you can be, because you're going to need to carry that and that confidence in your everyday life. So, you know, just across the board, I feel like, you know, now more than ever with so many parents being involved in coaching and stuff, it's really starting when they're younger and these kids are just getting to experience, you know, a certain level of coaching. And that's just a huge plus across the board, you know, especially here in our own town. There's so many kids. And for all the people who don't really understand basketball, if there's one thing that I can say I want them to know is that this is an outlet for these kids. This is not just because it's a popular sport or because of what they're watching. Yeah, that attributes somewhat, but more or less, this is all we have here. And that's just sports in general. You know, any sport that we have here, it's an outlet for them. It's a place they can go and they can be themselves and do something other than, you know, just hanging out and playing video games. So, you know, that's kind of what I want people to know. It's an outlet, and these kids need that outlet. And all sports are an outlet too.
Sure.
Back in the day, Pops used to tell us that basketball, and he's hold this basketball, he's hold it up here, that basketball right here, this thing can take you all across the world, and you can be introduced to people you would never thought you'd meet before with this thing right here, as long as you respect it, you know, and put work in. And it did it. It brought our little brother over to Australia to play ball. My boy Dries went to Australia. Bass and Aaron, those guys, they went to Switzerland to go play ball. Trey, you know, those guys they all did that stuff because they respected that and they believed in it, you know. And so that brings me one thing. Then we're gonna go to wrestling real fast, but I gotta give a quick shout out to Gianna Grant. Apparently, she just received information on the hoops down under. And so she got invited to Australia. So I know her parents are going to start getting on that fundraising thing and try to get her down there. So
that's what's up.
If you guys out there see any fundraisers going on for Gianna Grant to head to Australia, you guys make sure and show your support.
G,
Definitely.
call her
She's
G.
a heck of an athlete too.
She
not
is.
just a basketball player.
She's
does it all.
She's a high jumper. She's a volleyball player, man. A runner. No, it's a runner. Oh man. Okay, so hey, you guys. I know that Coach Tramner and the wrestling squad they hosted a big old giant girls tournament. I believe it was early last week sometime, and it's the biggest girls wrestling tournament in Nebraska, and so they said it's even bigger than like the state tournament one when it comes to like the athletes who all show up and everything, because it's open to all these schools, and so I know that Coach Trammer had a really successful successful event going on at the school there, and I'm not exactly sure what kind of pictures and stuff we have of that tournament there. Oh, there it is right there. I knew Tramner was he's really excited about this all the time. It's like his main thing for the year, and I get that. So if you look up there, hey B-Luv, can you?
Can I what?
Oh, I thought there were some winners up there. If you could announce those up there.
Can you see up there?
I just see Coach Tramner right there. Oh, and then I want to give a shout out to one of the coaches too, Coach Z. Zariah George is right there on the bench, pushing. You know, she's the GOAT, 2-time state champion.
Oh yeah.
So we got her in our corner there. Definitely hooking up the girls program over there.
Hey Beth, go to that next pic of that girl on the ground. What, oh, is that one of our girls?
I don't think so.
No. Well, look at that elbow. Is that normal? Ouch. She act like it ain't nothing. No, look at man. That just hurt my joints.
There's a lot of. We're just showing a lot of pictures from that wrestling tournament that we had here in Winnebago, and oh man, the town is so busy at that time. I think that Sweetwater and Sweet Things was bumping all day long.
Nice.
Oh, there's Coach Huge's little girl.
And I just want to give a shout out to all the parents that are involved with the wrestling participants, because I know just from my personal self, you know, if I see my kid getting slammed around, you know, I'm gonna get upset and act some kind of way. But you know, just a credit to them for you know wrestling's a tough sport, and you got to be mentally tough and not just physically. But I know just like in any sport, it's probably more mental, and just being here when Doxy came here that time and did his interview, just the mentality he had and the preparedness that he had, it's a different, you got to be different. You got to be a different type of athlete. You got to be a different type of person. And, that's just, just huge shout out to all of them and, doing their thing out there. Cause, Vago wrestling's on the map.
It is.
For sure.
Yeah. When you refer to Doxy, we call him All-American Doxy.
It's All-American.
It's All-American up here. That's his first name.
Yeah, there's some good shots right there. Oh, that's when I kind of skipped by too, Beth. But yeah, Coach Trammer has the Winnebago Company A Scouts, they're called, and it's the youth program he has, getting the wrestlers ready for junior high, and so they have practice every Wednesday night, which is tonight. And so yeah, you guys, Coach Trammer has the program that's starting them young, and I've been to a couple of these tournaments before, and they're starting really young, like at first, second grade. They got little bitty guys out there. You wouldn't even think to be wrestling. They're out there wrestling.
I remember you talking Siki Love wanted to get out there wrestling, but then nobody wanted to wrestle her.
Yeah, she'll be at practice tonight.
Oh, nice.
She enjoys that stuff there. But yeah, so I know that the wrestling's doing a really good job. I know we got our eyes open for a couple of our athletes that was at state last year, like Zoe Wilkie. Also. Zakiah Redhorn, and then of course Doxy, and then there's a couple other guys that went out for wrestling. Darius Flemster, Booby's out for wrestling.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, and he's big on weights and stuff. So I really want to see how he's gonna do.
He'd probably be pretty good.
And then
he was real elusive in football, so I might come into play a little bit.
Yeah.
Juke around real quick.
Yeah, so we'll definitely get some of the wrestlers up on the show too before the postseason starts to see what they got. Try to get Coach Tram around here. I know he usually has a couple of the young guys come up and do interviews and stuff, but I'm trying to get him up here. So let's just keep our eyes open for the Winnebago Indians and all the stuff they do here in the wrestling program. And then, so I think we're gonna end this episode on a couple of good notes. I'll go ahead and let you guys have your microphone time here in a second for late shout outs or ending remarks and stuff like that. But my last thing I want to talk about is, right now at the beginning of the year usually starts fundraising season for a lot of our youth teams. I know Coach Chris takes teams down to Denver and also down to Phoenix. And then there's also some other local tournaments that he likes to take the boys to in the off season. I do that as well, and so does Coach Markel. And then there's some other people that take the girls around. So I just want to encourage the community of Winnebago, all the listeners, if you see any fundraising flyers, any kind of posters that are out asking for support for these Winnebago youth teams, please show your support and stop down and maybe grab a breakfast or an Indian taco or whatever it may be. Buy a raffle ticket or something like that. So it all helps with these kids' traveling costs, because we don't have a sponsor that just pays for everything like a lot of these tribes do. Although the Warhorse is doing pretty good, so maybe if Coach Huge and those guys are listening, that might be something they could put on the table, make it easier for our kids, Oh. So keep your eyes out, guys. B-Luv?
There wasn't no shout out or nothing. It was just something I was going to try to jump in, and one of my two things I was going to talk to I wanted to kind of touch base on was what do you guys feel about our Nebraska native Terrence Crawford retiring from boxing after that fight? I mean, we didn't get it. I think it happened after we did our last show, so
yeah,
we
you're
didn't
right.
Talk about it. So I was just wondering what you guys thought about it. What you guys think?
I would have did the same thing. I mean, what do you got to prove? What what more could you have done? I mean, you beat pretty much the most popular, the biggest fighter in the world. I mean, I would like to go out on top. That's like pretty much, I would imagine, the equivalents to winning, a state championship or an NBA championship. Like, hey, I mean, that zero in that L column, got to go a long ways in that sport.
And I would say it was perfect too, because even before the last fight against Canelo, even before that, he said it's not about the money. It's not about the money at all. It's not even about the belts. It's about that status,
legacy,
and that's what he wanted. And he got that. And so even after he said that, I think if he fights anymore, and it's just for money. It's not for clout or nothing like that. It's just for money, because he already got the ultimate.
Well, I think that he should. He did it right, but there was a talk about a rematch in there, and then it would give him what he was actually deserves now, since he's beat the best of the best.
Yeah.
I would have did one more for 150 mil, because he only got what, 50 mil for that, or 20 mil or something from that fight.
Yeah.
And
Only?
Canelo got 150 for getting dropped.
Yeah. I would say, because I know there was, I don't think there was a rematch clause in there. I don't think there was.
No, there wasn't, but there was talks.
So, but myself, I would say, I would just had that on the tip of my tongue here, about a rematch. I would say if the fight was closer, then let's have one. But I mean, a lot of people said, points was this, and no, Canelo got his butt whooped.
Yeah.
There was no saying, no chance.
Yeah, then there's even signs, since they're both retired, is even trying to talk about Mayweather coming out and trying to fight him. I don't think that'd be a good idea for Mayweather.
Oh man, not right now. Not right now.
No, so I mean, so you know how this Jake Paul crap was, and so that's kind of what it is, like a money grab and stuff. But I think, come on, bud, you got one more, and you go get that money. You get right off into the sunset.
Yeah.
So that's what I say.
That's a good one. Coach Chris, got any final remarks for today?
I just kind of want to play off what I said earlier about, just sports in general and how important they are. And, I think people get a little caught up in, us as, not just us here, but just people across the board in our community, just making everything about basketball. And, my main reason for, being about basketball is because I know that there's a lot that goes into it, and there's a lot that you can take away from it. And like I said, I'm very passionate about teaching the game, but all in all, you know, I'm doing it for these kids, and I'm doing it, you know, nothing to do with my own personal self. And I'm sure there's a lot of other coaches that are in it for the exact same reasons as me. And I kind of want to give a shout out to them, you know, because you don't get paid. You know, sometimes, you know, making it to all the games, it is hard. Sometimes you are under the weather and you still got to show up. And, you know, this past season for me, it's been a struggle. You know, little Chris, you know, had a medical issue that he had to deal with. And, you know, seeing my son not being able to get on the floor, seeing my son put in so much work since he was in 4th grade to have this year and to have it taken away, it's a very humbling experience for me and my family, in a sense of, you know, we're all about our kids and we always put our kids first. And there's just the way that life is in our journey. Certain things come up that humble you and make you realize it's always got to be God and the Creator that come first. And I know in saying that a lot of people do, but at the same time, you know, while these kids are young and while these kids are coming up, like, let them play. Whether it's basketball, whether it's running, whether it's wrestling, just let them play. Let them have those opportunities. And my wish is that the community and our leaders can understand how important sports are and how important our kids being healthy as far as weightlifting and training and how far that goes for them and becoming adults, you know, picking up those good habits and having those habits of taking care of yourself and your body, because, you know, just all Indian reservations in general are at a high risk for a lot of, you know, diabetes and, you know, certain things like that. And I think that's an integral part, you know, being healthy and taking care of our bodies, that we need to emphasize to our kids when they're young, that these physical activities really do go a long way. And there's a lot you can learn in these sports. And it's not always about winning and losing, you know, it's about teaching these kids. And for the coaches that aren't thinking that way, you know, this is kind of my message to them, is that, you know, winning and losing is great, but it's not everything. And coaching the game for these kids to have fun and to fall in love with the game is really what it's all about. And, you know, like I said, I wish that, you know, the community could just, you know, encourage the kids to participate and to play and, you know, just be active and just be healthy and just let them have fun. That's what it's all about.
All right. Hey, thanks a lot, Chris. Those are good words right there. Those are really good words. Yeah, also continue prayers for Kitchi too, because you know, I try to throw his name in the mix of my prayers every day, because I know it's hard to see when your own relatives, your grandsons, can go through something tough like that. So prayers up, man. Prayers up for him. Okay, hey, ladies and gentlemen, that will do it for our episode today. But I got one question on this Winnebago Sports Talk Show. Where's Paco? Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to 100.9 FM. This is KWTN. The Big Voice Radio. Another episode of The Big Voice, the show.
This is where